Please read us a story, old bear. We'll all gather round. Dear old bear, sit in your favorite chair. We'll sit all around, dear old bear.
Zebra had been giving the toys rides in her little red cart. All morning she trotted up and down the room, pulling one toy at a time from the sofa to the door and back again. "My legs are rather tired," she said, as Sailor climbed down from the cart. "I think that had better be the last go." "But I haven't had my turn yet," cried Rabbit, who was waiting at the starting point. "Couldn't we just do one more trip?" Zebra was about to reply when Little Bear ran into the room. "Beep, beep, beep, beep," he shouted. "Why are you beeping all over the place?" asked Duck. "I'm a hooter," said Little Bear breathlessly. "Bramwell said I could be one if I ran in front." "In front of what?" asked Sailor, looking all around. "The car, of course," said Little Bear. "What car?" asked Duck. But just then, something big and red and driven by Bramwell Brown whizzed through the door. It rattled across the room towards them and gradually slowed down, finally coming to a halt right in front of Little Bear. "I suppose this is it," said Duck. "Yes," said Little Bear proudly. "And look, it's even got headlights." He pointed to 2 soup spoons sticking out of the bonnet. "Those were my idea." Old Bear walked all round the car. He prodded the cardboard bodywork and examined the wheels. "It's very good," he said. "It must have taken a long time to build." "Ages," said Bramwell. "But we thought Zebra would be pleased. She won't get tired pulling everyone in her cart now, and they can all ride in the car." Zebra didn't look at all pleased. "But I like giving people rides in my cart," she said. "It was only my legs that were tired." "Well, you can have a rest now," said Little Bear, patting the bonnet of the car, "because we'll all be whizzing around in this." "And you can even have a ride yourself," said Rabbit. That will be fun," said Zebra doubtfully. Rabbit peered under the car. "How does it work?" he asked. "With this," said Little Bear, pointing to a large key. "It winds up a rubber band which makes the wheels go round." "That's clever," said Old Bear. "Isn't it, Zebra?" But Zebra didn't answer. Slowly and sadly, she was dragging her cart across the room to a little corner by the window. "I might as well park it here," she said, "as nobody needs it anymore." The other toys were all too busy admiring the new arrival to notice Zebra. Little Bear picked up a building block. "I'm going to build it a garage," he said. "That's a good idea," said Bramwell. "The car's paintwork will stay nice and clean in a garage." "Can I have a drive now?" asked Rabbit, who couldn't wait any longer. "Of course," said Bramwell. "Just wind it up and away you go." Rabbit started to turn the key round and round. Suddenly, the car began to move. "How do you stop it?" called Rabbit as he bounded along trying to catch up. "You can't," cried Bramwell. "You just steer it into something soft." But I'm not in it," puffed Rabbit, still running along behind the car. "Then you'll just have to let it wind down," called Old Bear. "It shouldn't take too long." But Bramwell had had an idea. He scrambled up onto the sofa, waited for a moment, and then, just as the car whizzed past, he jumped right into the driver's seat. "Well done!" cried Little Bear. Bramwell grabbed the steering wheel, and with a quick turn, he steered straight into a cushion. Thud! Rabbit bumped into the back of the car, and Little Bear's headlights flew out of their holes and landed with a clatter on the floor. Old Bear helped Rabbit to his feet. "It's quite clear to me," he said, "that this car needs brakes." "It's all right if someone's driving it," said Bramwell, picking up the headlights. "Then they can steer." "From inside the car," muttered Duck, "not running along behind." "Can I have a go now?" asked Ruff. "Of course," said Bramwell. "You be the passenger and I'll drive." He pushed the spoon headlights back into their holes, and Old Bear turned the key round and round. Bramwell and Ruff started to move. Faster and faster they drove, to the left and to the right, bumping and rattling as they went. Bramwell waved to the other toys. "This is fun," he called. "You must try it." But Ruff was staring straight ahead. "Look out!" he cried. "It's Cat. She's in the way." Cat looked up sleepily to see the car rushing towards her. She was just thinking that she probably ought to move when Bramwell suddenly swerved to the left and missed her by a whisker. He didn't miss Little Bear's brick wall, though, and with a crash the half-built garage landed all over the car. "Oh no!" cried Little Bear. "I shall have to start again now." Bramwell and Ruff climbed out of the pile of blocks. "You are going too fast," said Old Bear. "It isn't safe to drive like that indoors. I think you should have someone walking in front of the car to warn everyone that it's coming." "I'll do that," said Little Bear, who decided that garage building wasn't such a good idea. "You'll need a red flag to carry," said Duck, "to show that the car is dangerous." "I'll use my trousers," said Little Bear, sitting down to take them off. With his trousers tied to a pencil, Little Bear practiced walking up and down while the other toys pushed the car out of the pile of bricks. Bramwell examined it closely. "Just a few dents," he said. "I'm sure it will be fine. Come on, Ruff. In you get. I think I'd rather run behind this time," said Ruff. So Bramwell climbed back into the car. "Could somebody wind it up?" he called. Rabbit went to turn the key and then stopped. "It's gone," he cried. "Who's taken it?" Nobody had taken it. "It must have fallen out," said Old Bear. They all stared at the jumble of coloured bricks. "It could be right at the bottom," said Duck. "In fact, it probably is." Little Bear stopped marching up and down. "I think I know something that might help," he said, rushing off. When he returned, he was carrying a big red horseshoe-shaped magnet. "Well done, Little Bear," cried Bramwell. "The key is metal, so it will stick to the magnet, and then we can pull it out." While the other toys moved the building bricks around, Little Bear prodded about with the magnet. A nail and a paperclip stuck to the end, but nothing bigger. Bramwell moved an extra big block, and suddenly, with a bing, there was the key, hanging on tightly to the magnet. "Hurrah!" cried the other toys. "You found it, Little Bear." "As a reward," said Old Bear, "I think you should have the next ride in the car. I'll walk in front with the red flag." Very excited, Little Bear clambered into the back of the car, behind Bramwell. Then Rabbit turned the key. The car began to move forward. Bumpety-bump, bumpety-bump. "It's not a very smooth ride, is it?" said Little Bear in a rather shaky voice. "It isn't usually this bumpy," said Bramwell. "I think something must be wrong." As he spoke, there was an extra big bump, then a wobble and a crunching noise, and then the wheel fell off. The car tipped sideways, and Bramwell and Little Bear fell out. "Oh dear," said Old Bear. "The red flag didn't help that time, did it?" Bramwell stood up and looked at the rather crumpled three-wheeled car. "I think perhaps we ought to build something safer," he suggested. "Something that goes quite slowly, can stop easily, and doesn't need a key to wind it up." Said Old Bear thoughtfully. "I know something just like that." "Do you?" asked Little Bear. "What is it?" "I'll get it for you," said Old Bear, and he hurried away. When he returned a little later, who should he have with him but Zebra and her little red cart. Little Bear looked at Zebra and clapped his paws. "Of course," he cried. "She doesn't need brakes or a key, and she never goes too fast. Are your legs still tired, Zebra?" Zebra shook her head. "While you were all driving the car," she said, "I had a nice little rest. Now I'm ready for a whole afternoon of rides. So, let me see, who's going to have the first go?" "Me!" cried everyone at once.